Hello everybody. This is Venus and Aries. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by and checking me out. I am recording part 2, video 2 for the African American slaves slash black people during 1865 from 2023 Reconstruction era. Happy New Year to everybody out there. This video is pre-recorded. It is December 31st, 2023. My uploads have been kind of slow, so it's going, because when I upload it, it says 6 hours, and I'm like, I don't have time. Whenever my videos be like almost 2 hours, it does that. So it probably won't upload to New Year's early morning or afternoon. I'm gonna probably be asleep, so I probably won't take it out of I probably put it public New Year's Day. But if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by and checking me out. I do celebrity readings. I do zodiac sign readings on TikTok, and I upload them here often. Well, not often, but I will start. But they're often on my TikTok, so check that out if you are into your astrology, zodiac sign, love readings, and much more. I do celebrity readings. I said that already, but I also do historical readings. And this is the African American slaves slash black people from 1865 to 2023 Reconstruction era. Okay. I do these readings. I am 97.1% accurate because I'm not God, and I do these readings for the accuracy of the true historical moments in life history situations. To see what is true and what is not true, especially when they do movies on like history. I definitely want to do that. So let's jump into it. Part 2. So I ended part 1 talking about 1900 to 1923 with women's rights and the massacres that was going down in Tuscaloosa and North Carolina. And we all know, we seen that movie, why is it not coming to my head right now? Rosewood, that massacre in 1923, and in 1921, we talked about that, the reasons why. I played a video, a video showing statistics of what black men were doing to make things a little worse than what they were during the time when it came to white women. And so in this part 2 video, I'll be talking about 1924 to 1954. I'll start off with that. We'll be talking about what happened in the South around that time, the Civil Rights movement, the NAACP, and what was going on in the North and the West. We will also talk about, the Martin Luther King a little bit around that time, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X. Who else did I put up here? The NAACP, the Black Panther era as well. So we're going to start off talking about that. And then right after that, I have my subscriber questions. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 questions. And then the last question is talking about the race. Each race of man and what the future of it is. And I guess so many words, what is God's plans for that? So let's get started, because I don't want to be forever on this movie. I'm supposed to be off today, but I did go to work today. I did, add extra. I'm not gonna say volunteer because it's not free. I'm getting paid, but I did add extra hours, so I'm gonna go to work this evening. And tomorrow, the next 3 days, I'm off, you guys. So I will be doing nothing but celebrity uploads. Royce Reed, DJ Academics, Monica and C Murder. I'm going to post that prediction on my Instagram. By the way, if you are into seeing my predictions, if you're into making sure, okay, I may want to read for her, but how do I know she's right, and how can I know she predict things or if she's accurate? I do have my Instagram. I do post my celebrity predictions on there, and just predictions in general on there, and it's private. But if you are interested in seeing if my predictions are accurate, or you could just watch, because I read celebrities, so you can just see what's going on in that way. But follow my Instagram. I do post my predictions there. I did predict that the Hamas people would let the hostages go. I predicted that in October. I start seeing them do that in December. I predicted Cardi B and Offset. Yeah. So let's get into the reading, you guys. Let's start off with the energy around the Reconstruction era from 1924 to 1954. Let's start off with the civil rights in the South. Jim Crow era. Let's get into that. Give me the energy around the South from 1924 to 1954. I know Jim Crow really didn't start in 1924, but let's just add that in anyway. The first thing I felt... Okay, y'all, I know that happens when I get my messages. The first thing I felt is that white people were missing the old memories of being in charge and having all the businesses and having more money and having more rights and not getting in trouble with the law. Because actually some people were getting in trouble with the law when it came to black people. Now we're talking about 1924 to 1954 in the South with the civil rights. So white people were getting upset because things were happening finally equally. There was an equally give and take in the situation. And so they were upset. That's the first energy that I felt. And so they felt like they were vulnerable. They were open, and that the country was not like it used to be. Memories of the old country, memories of them being vulnerable and open to what's about to go on, and them not feeling like, okay, we're not protected. Our families are not protected. Our women are not protected, So how are we going to protect ourselves? Yes, I got my tea. I should have made more, but I'm going to wait till I go to work tonight to make it. The Wheel of Fortune. Like, our world is turned. This went to white people, y'all, in the South. Our world is turning upside down. It's tripping. We're having bad luck. What's going on? Are we not, our ancestors are pissed right now. We're not taking control of the country. We're not blocking off certain people from coming around us. We're losing. We have to change something and make something like it was in the old days. Even if we cannot do the slavery no more, they have to bow down. We have to make something equal. So I feel like that's when Jim Crow started. They were losing patience. I said black people, but this is talking about, I can feel it through Beyond Car. This is talking about white people. We are losing patience when it comes to this equal give and take. We're not going to be sharing the same bathrooms, sharing the same fountains, sharing the same women. I don't care how ugly our white women are. I don't care how fat our white women are. No offense if you're watching and you're white, especially if you're fat or not attractive. But I doubt it. We don't care. We are losing balance. We are not protected. I don't see change happening. We are losing money. We have to worry about our wives being disturbed and being unhappy and not bringing foundation and happiness to the home. So I feel like that was the energy around then. As far as black people, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see black people in this energy. So let me pull some tarot cards in spirit. What was going on around 1924 to 1954 when it came to the black people and the civil rights and the double ACP in the South? What was going on with that? I'm hearing the energy of black people not being protected, being caught off guard. The same thing I was kind of saying in part one, being tortured, houses being burned, children being taken, and lives taking their lives. Feeling like it's unfair and unbalanced, and we don't have our tempers. We can't. The energy is like, we've been sitting here too long now. Okay, now it's been over 50 years, and we watched our grandmothers and our great grandmothers lose everything to this Reconstruction, and the world has been turned upside down with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. and our women are not happy anymore. So we have to change things. And so I see them just like making black people miserable. And black people with this 9 of Wands here in reverse, not feeling protected, not being guarded, taking forever to be able to gain whatever they lost. And that goes back to the Tucson massacre, the Rosewood massacre. And when I say lost, I mean everything from money to food to property to businesses to families to people to children to husbands to wives. All of it. Give me the energy around, like I said earlier, 1924, 1954, the South, civil rights, and the NAACP. Excuse me. Okay. As soon as I pulled this, I got the energy of the Black Lives Matter movement right now. I promise. I promise. The thought that came to my head is, I swear to God, but I don't swear to God, so God forgive me for saying that. But that was the original thought in my head, like, oh, I swear to God. But no, I promise. So whoever was in charge of the AA NCP was trying to be coming off like they were pure, but they were about themselves. I'm not going to say dark energy because the Temperance is not a dark energy. It's more like an impurity, more like losing patience, more like not balanced, and more like not listening to the light or the angels. Or the angels could be trying to get to you, you're not listening, or you're ignoring them on purpose. It's that type of energy. And so whoever was in charge of the AA NCP, they were very arrogant and cocky and very feeling like they were running things, and very temperamental as well. It was a man. He was probably very charming and a player, but that's not the point. The point is, it started off structured, to be completely honest. It started off passionately driven, like whoever created it was driven, but then they started being irresponsible. They started trying to do things their own way. They started getting dark. So I'm going to take it to where, even though I don't have coins, I'm going to start saying that they started being greedy, getting more than they should, putting themselves first. But overall, arrogant, temperamental, and more, okay? And then we have the civil rights movement feeling like we need to take a leap of faith. We need to try something new. We need to take this somewhere else. We need to come out more and be open more. Excuse me, y'all. When that happens, that means I hit my camera. Being more emotionally involved. So I do see NAACP being created by men, black men. This is what my cards are telling me. It could have said women. I mean, women were in it, of course, but I feel like men started it because they were tired of having to run and hide from their families, getting their homes burned down, getting their houses destroyed, and moving from one place to another, literally running out in the rain with their children and stuff, and from having fulfillment, from being, tortured or messed with. Them wanting a new start and taking a leap of faith to doing something different, and basically sacrificing. You know that saying that you got to fight for something or stand for nothing? That's the energy I'm seeing when it started. I feel like over time with the with the civil rights movement and the NAACP, these arrogant men, it could have been women, but I'm definitely feeling a strong man energy, very masculine energy, especially with this King of Cups right here. Very masculine, but I'm feeling like they turned a blind eye. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it because it just looks like it in the cards. It just seems like whenever black men try to rule, most black men, 80%, try to be in charge of something or try to have an organization or some type of program or trying to do something different, they always get big-headed. They always kind of get lazy. They always kind of turn a blind eye. They always get greedy somewhat. They always get arrogant. Spirit, can I clarify why the Eight of Swords is here when it comes to the NAACP and the civil rights in the South during 1924 to 1954? white black man, I'm just going to be honest, whoever's in charge of the NAACP, civil rights movement, black men in general around 1924 through 1954, y'all lost the passion to want to keep this change going. I guess maybe somebody white, you seen something happen, like the things that were happening. Maybe you seen a relative or a woman or somebody, and because this is the white man, maybe you seen somebody going to jail and being tortured. Maybe you seen one of your friends get in trouble. Maybe you seen a mob chase your friends and hang them. Maybe you seen something like that made you lose the passion and the drive to want to get out there and keep the civil rights movement going, keep fighting. The white people didn't stop doing the revolutionary when the kings in England was trying to come against George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and them. You didn't, like, they lost people, they lost their men, they lost a lot of stuff, especially when they came and destroyed New York, back in Revolutionary, when the British came and destroyed New York. George Washington lost a lot of men that day. And so this happens. You have to sacrifice something in order to gain something better. In that case, you didn't see George Washington and them saying, all right, we don't have the passion to fight no more. They win. Just let the white people win. It's Jim Crow now. There's separate bathrooms. There's separate water fountains. We got to sit in the back of the bus. We're just going to be trapped to what they're doing. Honestly, they got lazy. And that just shows, they gave up the fight to want to get their swords and make it happen. And I'm not literally talking about swords, but it could have been, going to speak at the courts. It could have been marching. It could have been, hell, going to war like they do. It could have been staying out there and still getting hit with the water hose and fighting the dogs. And when they send the dogs out to fight you, you fight the dog like he a human. Like, fight that motherfucker. Like, when I was 11 years old, I remember my manager downstairs, my little brother was 3, my manager downstairs had a big bulldog, and I was walking, me and my little brother was walking outside, and that bulldog came out of nowhere and attacked me. I put my little 3-year-old brother behind me, and I started swinging at that dog like he was a human. I mean, don't get it twisted, he was still attacking me, but because I was swinging like I was a human and kicking my legs and shit, he didn't get a chance to bite me before the manager came out and grabbed him. Maybe eventually he would have bit me, but it would have took him a while because I was swinging and kicking and fighting like he was a person running up on me, and a dog is still a dog. Okay, y'all better learn how to when I hate to say this, but this is only when I'm attacked. Okay, and the reason why I'm bringing this up because the sun is here with the women. The women had to come in and take over and keep the civil rights movement going. Okay. This was 2017 when I was on the East Coast. My roommate, his girlfriend had this little Chihuahua for 3 weeks straight because he was a little dog. I come in the gate every day. I had my key. This dog attacked my ankle and he had little teeth, so it didn't really hurt hard. It didn't really hurt. Plus, I had on boots and stuff. Well, I always had on boots and stuff because I was on the East Coast. It was cold, and so he always bite my boot and stuff, but it didn't hurt. And I let a month go by, maybe 3 weeks, a month go by. He attacking me every day, and I figure, okay, because he don't know me that well yet because I'm the new roommate. I just moved in. But after a month, I was getting tired. He attacking me every day now. It's been a month, and I'm in my head okay, you have to know me now. Dogs are very, very smart. My daughter dog ain't been here all summer. He still remember us. You have to know me now. This is what I'm thinking with the dog. So at this point, you just a mean ass dog and you doing this on purpose. So after a month, I got tired of that shit. And then the last time he bit me, I had on sneakers, this time with a skirt. So he came and attacked me when I came in with my key at the door, bit my leg. I was like, all right. And she didn't really say nothing. His girlfriend really didn't say nothing until the last minute. And the dog was only attacking me. The next day I came in with boots and he came to attack me again. I kicked that dog so hard. He flew in the grass because my neighbor was Jamaican and he liked to grow cabbage and stuff. So he had he was growing fruit. I kicked him in the yard with all the fruit and stuff growing. That dog ain't messed with me or come by me since. And it just seemed like a lot of black men were giving up when the dogs were attacking them. maybe when some of their men died and stuff like that. At least from 1924 to 1954. But it looks like the women had to step in and get some type of wisdom and figure out how to keep this civil rights movement going and work hard and make it happen. So it shows the women stepping in. Now, don't get it twisted. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and them come in. So I'm pretty sure there were some men that kept it going. But it's showing in the cards that mostly women kept it going. All right. Let's talk about the North real quick. During Reconstruction era, from 1924 to 1954, the black people. Okay, let's talk about the North, and then we'll talk about the West. What was the energy around the North around 1924 to 1954 when it came to the African American people during this Reconstruction era? Ten of Swords. It keeps coming out Ten of Swords with New York. I keep saying New York, but the North. So it's kind of like the same thing. No jobs, hunger, stressed out, overwhelmed, hungry, depression. A lot of people passing and dying on the streets from hunger, being homeless and freezing. I'm seeing all that energy. Depression, drought. It was kind of hard for black people in the North. Really, really, really. I'm starting to see that. Why is the Ace of Cups here? I see the women were trying to keep strength through having love in their heart and keeping God in their heart and trying to build a connection and be close to God. And I see a lot of the men, black men, look at this. This is an Emperor card, and it's crazy because this is a black guy. But a lot of black men giving up on trying to have leadership, trying to have control, trying to make something happen, trying to go out and get money and make the money, everything that comes with the Emperor. Nine of Pentacles is next to it with the Ten of Wands. It just seemed like it was overwhelming for men, and I'm trying not to be so hard because it was around that time, 1924, 1954. It was pretty hard. And so I'm trying to be understanding because I know that white men weren't giving black men a chance back then. And it was hard. But again, like I said earlier, I didn't see the black men trying to fight either. I see them trying to give up. And the Emperor is talking about somebody that runs over everything. So they're definitely giving up leadership role with this Emperor in reverse. And they definitely gave up on fulfillment and trying to get the coin and trying not to be hungry. This the energy of them leaving the women single again. Remember, the Nine of Pentacles is my single rich woman. That's a single witch woman. Okay? And making it hard and overwhelming for the women to get out there and make money. And actually the women did it, but it was overwhelming. And then I see a lot of people from the North actually went and moved back to the South. They actually went and moved back to the South because it was like, all right, we're homeless and living on the streets, but we can't, but at least if we're homeless and living out in the fields or out in the land or out, in the South, at least we could grow crops and eat. And so I see a lot of people moving back north. A lot of people were guided spiritually to move back north too. By their ancestors, by God, by the angels. Because there was no opportunities in the north. And there was a lot of depression and fighting and shooting. It was guns then, shooting and harming each other. Okay? I see a lot of men not being emotionally able to be there for their women financially. So they just kind of gave up, hid their emotions, held back. I'm seeing a lot of black men, because remember my question, I see them drinking, becoming alcoholics. I also see liquor traveling through water from somewhere else, or sneaking liquor, or bringing liquor over here from somewhere else. But now that I think about it, there was prohibition. It's all right here. Remember with liquor, I don't know if you guys know, liquor was illegal from the 1920s. It just started being back legal like 1930 or 40 or something. I can't remember all that. But it was illegal around then. And I actually could see in this card where there was liquor being snuck to the States or from the States. To or from. Liquor was being snuck. Like snuck here or snuck out. And a lot of the men were drinking, becoming alcoholics, becoming abusive, King of Wands in reverse, becoming vindictive and violent towards their women, leaving the women sad. And look, my cards don't lie. Look at this. Sad. Look, leaving the woman sad with no goal, like no hopes on how to eat, make a living, take care of her kids, not be in their femininity and all. The North was pretty bad. A lot of black people that was in the North, they ended up going back to the South. I see a lot of women going back South because their men abandoning them and leaving them. Woo, 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 woo. I can tell all that just in that card. Let's talk about the West in the Reconstruction era from 1924 to 1954. Let's talk about the West. What was going on in the West from 1924 to 1954 during the Civil Rights era, with the NAACP and the black people? Okay. I'm going to be honest. If you lived on the West, you were a little more free as a black person. You actually had a chance to make money too as well, but it was not fair money. It was like, and that's crazy because it was like that everywhere, but it was more like, all right, the black man gets paid $5 a day versus the white man getting $10 a day. So it was unfair pay, but there was money. A lot of black people, like if you left the South or the North and you ended up in the West, you did turn a blind eye to ever being there. And I do see a lot of black people from 1924 to 1954 being traumatized from being in the South and the North. And when they get to the West, they're kind of mentally, I'm not going to say mentally ill, but mental depression, mental health. I see a lot of mental health involved. Needing to go to therapy, needing to clear their mind, needing to heal from trauma, not having emotional strength, but escaping all the hanging and the tortures from the South, finding opportunities and kind of getting freedom. And what I mean by that is probably getting to the beach and clearing their mind. Women being able to be a little more independent in the West and speak on how they feel. Yeah, a lot of freedom. So the West is a little better. Give me a little more energy when it comes to the West for the black people from 1924 to 1954 during the Civil Rights and NAACP, which I kind of already talked about the NAACP. And I'm going to talk about it some more when I talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks real quick. But let's talk about that real quick. 1924, 1954, Civil Rights, NAACP. Give me the energy around the black people of that time. There was also, when I see right here, there was also a lot of white people who were from, like, for an example, Mississippi, the South, the North. Mostly the South, I'm hearing, not really the North. Moving to the West and moving to the West. Now, what was they moving to the West doing? Say, like, if you were a cop from 1924 to 1954 in the South, or anywhere between those generations, and you had a hard time with money, you needed money because it was hard for everybody in the South, you would move to the West to become a cop or a judge or a lawyer or something, you know, or actor. I'm even hearing actor. Like the West, it was a lot of money in the West. But for the black people, let's go there. I seen that with the Six of Swords real quick. It was hard to manifest things. It was hard to get things. So a lot of black men in the West were still having a hard time getting like money, bringing food home, being able to protect their families, having a passion to go get it too. The magician talks about financial, emotional, spiritual, mental, and passionately. They didn't have the mental, they didn't have the emotional, and they didn't really have the passion to go get it. They were kind of like stuck in their emotions from depression. And it goes back again to being mentally damaged from maybe Jim Crow or whatever you went through in the South, or whatever traumas you had as a child, or maybe even being in the army, in the military, and seeing things, seeing your friends hang, and just seeing all kind of stuff. There was no emotional strength. There was a lot of emotional weakness and damage with the black people, especially the men that moved, if you were from the South or the North and you happened to get to the West. Not to mention we got a bunch of cops and white people coming to the West now to get those police jobs, lawyer jobs, judge jobs, you know. Six of Swords when it comes to the white people that were coming from the South towards the West. Give me a card for that. Heartbroken because they really don't want to leave the South where they from. Like, they want to be home, but they need it for new income. So a lot of them didn't want to leave their home and end up in California. So they were upset and sad. And so you know what that means when a white person's upset and sad, they take it out on you. No connection with the South and not wanting to have a connection with the change of it. Not wanting to do the change, but wanting the money. The money's there, but not wanting the change. And taking care of their families and homes. A lot of them left their wives and stuff at home at first to go get the money and bring it. And then it started getting overwhelming for them. So a lot of them was like homesick and wanted to go back down south and didn't rest well and just went through it. But they ended up being that lawyer. They ended up being that judge. They ended up being that cop. They ended up doing damage and hurting and harming black people and torturing them and taking opportunities away from black people and running it. Not giving black people fulfillment. The West wasn't pretty the best either when it came to the black people and the white people moving there, but it wasn't like the South. It was a lot of black people who were damaged and who, by the time they got to the West, they didn't have the courage, the strength, and the emotional courage, and they just lost it all and didn't want to. The passion, they just didn't want to. All right, so let me end that part there, y'all. Let's talk about the next subject. Let's talk about 1955 to 1985. That is the let's talk about that. We're going to talk about how the NAACP was when it came to Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. And let's start off with that in the South. Give me the energy of the NAACP from 1955 to 1985. Now, you notice how when I got to 1955 and 1985, I started talking, and I brought up Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. You see how the Nine of Wands came here, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Two of Wands. So the NAACP was getting better. They were able to start gaining a little more protection. Things were looking a little bit lighter for them. They actually had more people actually donating as well. So that's a good thing. People were donating to it. And it was still a slow process. It was still moving a little slow. But it was going better. Let me see what else comes out. Less lives being taken. The thing I will say that was going bad with it, though, is a lot of women. Come on, black women. Really, black women. Y'all weren't getting along again. Pretty much doing the same shit y'all do right now. Bring each other down, not get along. Don't want to see each other grow. Give each other a hard time on the jobs. Not be there for each other. Not form loving loving women groups, powerful women groups to support each other through heartbreaks, through breakups, through all the hard times. Here y'all go again, not wanting to be there for each other, not having connections, not forming connections with each other, the women. So the women kind of started taking over and it started getting better, but y'all not forming connections again. So then I feel like I don't know what to feel like. What happened after that? Give me the energy around it, around the NAACP, 1955, 1985. That's how the NAACP was looking, growing. Give me 2 more cards with it, and then we'll talk about Rosa Parks real quick and her involvement in it. It was spiritual, though. There was a lot of praying, a lot of connecting. I do see a man coming through finally having knowledge, having spiritual knowledge. A man who actually came through connected with God. So this may be Martin Luther King energy, but I'm not asking. And so I do see still from 1955 to 1985, it's still getting better. Even though women are being catty and petty, I still see them not stabbing each other in the back, trying to make this work, because obviously the enemy is out there. And so I do see them trying to work together a lot. They are working together a lot better than our generation. Even though they were still catty and not connecting and being women, they weren't deceiving each other. They weren't sneaking behind each other. They were spiritually inclined. So women still are better at running certain things like this than black men. And it's not because black men actually get alone and they could try it, but they give up too quick. Most of them, 80%. All right. Let me get Rosa Parks' energy when it comes to the NAACP. Give me Rosa Parks' energy when it comes to the NAACP. Oh, why the devil come out? Oh, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Rosa Parks wasn't fucking with the NAACP. She may have started off. I don't know if it, like, history. Look, the cards don't lie. Rosa Parks feels like the NAACP was evil. It was dark. They were liars. It was ran by somebody who was trying to be like, I'm hearing a cult. She felt like they were very immature and not mature enough to be an NAACP. I just heard Black Lives Matter again. That girl who was stealing the money, and the way Black Lives Matter is happening now, and how nobody don't really have each other back. Nobody has each other back. Everybody's childish. These men are arrogant. They're stuck up. The women are catty. Nobody's really thinking clearly. I'm here. The energy I'm feeling for Rosa Parks is I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm gone. Y'all are emotionally draining. And this is not doing me any favors. Y'all are emotionally draining, and this is not doing me any favors. So I'm just going to leave. I see her leaving it. So, Spirit, what was that with Rosa Parks in the bus? Wasn't that the NAACP? What was the energy around Rosa Parks in the bus? The energy I keep feeling is she wasn't messing with the NAACP like that. It's dark, it's a cult, it's something behind it. It was somebody there preaching. What was the energy with the bus? I feel like, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like maybe this was something that Rosa Parks was trying to get attention. She was trying to get attention from something else. Trying to get opportunity from something else. This was an opportunity for some other reason, but it didn't come out. She did this to get fame for something else. I don't know if she wanted to be famous or be famous for something, but whatever she was trying to be famous for, it looked like it didn't go the way she wanted to. Like, if she was trying to do this to be famous or get on TV or something, it didn't work that way. She got famous, but it didn't get her famous from what she wanted to be famous for. That's what I'm seeing in the cards with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse with no fulfillment, but the Seven of Cups with that opportunity. trying to get that opportunity. And her being deceived. So I feel, oh, okay, Spirit. The NAACP deceived her. They lied to her. They tricked her. They manipulated her into doing something. So she feels like it was dark. It was a cult. But I do see her own reasons of trying to do... Well, that was her reason, and because they lied and deceived her and played her. And so she's like, I'm not fucking with the NAACP. What y'all stand for, Black People World Cause, and trying to help the world be a better place. Y'all full of shit. Like people feel about the Black Lives Matter now. Wow. See, this is why we get readings like this for historical accuracy. Okay, now it's up to you. You don't have to believe me. These readings are, I'm not going to say, they are for entertainment purposes, but they're not. And you don't got to believe me, but look, the cards don't lie. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to do my research a little more when it comes to Rosa Parks. Give me Martin Luther King's energy when it comes to the NAACP and the Civil Rights Movement, and then we'll get Malcolm X. Give me Martin Luther King's energy when it comes to the NAACP and the Civil Rights Movement from 1955 into, he passed 1968, but 1985. Wow. All right. You know, I promise. This is giving me the same energy like they give Black Lives Matter movement right now, honestly. I'm getting the same energy of this civil rights and this opportunities. Nobody's really jaded about it. Everybody's turning a blind eye to it. There's no opportunities in this. Like nobody's trying to grow it or make opportunity or plant seeds or take us somewhere or make us look like we're gaining the opportunity or make things happen, make things grow. Everybody is deceiving. Everybody is being immature. Everybody is lying and playing games and spying and deceiving each other. And a lot of people are mentally retarded. That's my modern way. But he's saying a lot of people they got mental health problems. They need to check their mental health. They're crazy. They're not all there. They don't want to be here. They just want to leave. They want to move here, move there. They're not trying to be still. They're not trying to be responsible. They're not trying to take responsibility. They just want to take their families and leave. They didn't even want to fight for their rights. Black people in that time era, 1955 to 1985, they didn't want to fight for their rights. They just wanted to be comfortable and accept what's given to them instead of trying to fight for their comfort, fight for their freedom, fight for them to be able to lay in their home without being worried about losing it or it being taken. Martin Luther King energy is, I got tired of fussing and sounding like a bitter Betty and cussing. So he was a cusser. Okay. I was tired of cussing all the time. I was cussing people out. I was going off. I was sounding like a bitter Betty. And I just go in all the time. I was very vulgar. So he was a cusser. And I was the only one putting in the drive, doing the marches, doing the walks, putting the movement in there. And nobody else was trying to do it with me. And when I almost had some type of leadership, they didn't want to give it to me. And then I didn't see no other black men or people trying to... Hold on just a minute. I feel like I'm trying to be blocked. Okay, I was going to pause it because somebody was loud, but... All the men who were a part of the NAACP, a lot of men who needed to be a good leader, they were deceitful. The They were deceitful, they were lying, they were plotting. So it kind of makes me think of how the Black Lives Matter movement is now. Men were immature, didn't have no drive. I mean, I just heard Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever they lay their hat was their home. They went from here to there. They were always talking but not walking. Doing the talk but not walking the walk. Not moving. Not just talking. Had plans but never followed through with them. Had plans to change the world, to make things happen, to get their rights. But they were just talking. No action. No motherfucking action. Martin Luther King ain't no motherfucker. Now, I want to know one question, though. And I don't know if this is going to offend Martin Luther King. So I'm going to take this with the angels. Because I just felt like I was channeling Martin Luther King real quick. In my modern way. But angels, now with this Emperor reverse, because a lot of people looked at Martin Luther King like he was like, had leadership. Was he a good leader? Was he sneaky? Was he talking and full of it too? The energy shows me that Martin Luther King did try. He was passionate about it. He did try to fight. But at the end, towards right before his life was taken, he was about to give up too. He was just about to give up, just be about his family, because he wasn't getting fulfillment from it. It wasn't really getting him nowhere, and he wasn't getting lucky doing these marches and talking to the Senate, going to the Washington State, doing these speeches. He wasn't getting lucky. So I do see the energy of him getting ready. And people were sneaking and plotting. I feel like it was maybe people, black men in his own circle, who were sneaking and plotting against him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say they plotted against him to end his life with the white guys. I don't see that energy. But I'm just seeing the energy of sneaking and plotting and taking the money and just being about themselves and they're not, Martin Luther King putting in all the work and the passion and no fulfillment from it. So if Martin Luther King was not assassinated, look, see how my cards don't lie? If Martin Luther King was not assassinated, he would have given up too. He would have given up too. He would have just took his payment and given up and went home and been about his family. That's the energy I feel. Now, let's get, last but not least, Malcolm X. Let's get Malcolm X energy towards the NAACP in the Civil Rights Movement from 1955 to 1985. This is freaking crazy because the cards don't lie. The accuracy's real. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks ain't messing with the NAACP. And before I even pull a card on Malcolm X, I already feel like he ain't fucking with the NAACP. I actually read Malcolm X's book. I actually read his autobiography, and he was already a gangster. He wasn't even dealing with the NAACP. He was all about the guns. He might as well almost have been a Black Panther if he wasn't, because I don't remember all the history. And the book ain't gonna tell all the details, because Malcolm X's life was longer and bigger than that book. Look, see? Malcolm X is like, I already ain't fucking with the NAACP. I fought for mine. I fought. I sneak. I stole. I got my rights. Oh my God. Malcolm X energy is very masculine. It's very strong. It's very demanding. It's very intellectual. It's very spiritual. Very intellectual man. Very spiritual. A lot of wisdom. A lot to say. I'm feeling the energy of the wisdom of like an old man that has accumulated. So like the wisdom of living for 100 years, but being like in his 30s. Like 100 years worth of wisdom, but being in his 30s. Very knowledgeable. Leadership. It came to him. He didn't need to take it. That's what I heard. I was always trying to be in. I'm channeling Malcolm X. I was always trying to be in and discover stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Malcolm X was into the stars and into astrology, but I've always tried to be in, and I've always tried to study stuff, and I've always tried to read and learn. So, like I said, this man had a lot of wisdom. Okay. I just heard from the time that I was in jail all those years, I gained so much wisdom. I had dreams of snakes coming into my mind and seeing books and scripts behind it. That's different. Okay, that's different. No, when I never got into the civil rights. He's saying he's never even looked at the civil rights movement to even pay attention to what was going on or what was happening. A lot of people looked at him as his own star. He had his own hope, his own faith, driven his own way. So I'm not gonna lie, Malcolm X's energy is not even towards the civil rights movement or the NAACP. It's not. It's like his own. He had his own leadership. He felt like the NAACP, all it did was destroy families and plot and steal against each other. There was no happy festive moments, and they didn't really do anything. They didn't even talk. They didn't defend themselves. They didn't fight. They were always overwhelmed. They didn't have passion. They didn't have enough leadership to try. I was a soldier and I had a lot of wisdom. He felt like the NAACP didn't have no opportunities. He felt like the NAACP was just like a job source, not opportunities. And it was a job that didn't pay much. And nobody got along. And he heard the rumors about the women not getting along and being catty and fighting and stuff like that. And them being delayed. So his energy was never towards the NAACP. Never. So, yeah, him and they said Malcolm X and Martin Luther King was different. It's very clear here in the cards. Let's talk about the South during the era of 1955 through 1985, the Reagan era. I didn't mean to do this cards like that. The Reagan era. I didn't mean to do those cards like that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about 1955 through 1955 in the South during the Reagan era. A lot of people went to jail. A lot of people robbed and stole and harmed each other. A lot of children were abandoned and in foster homes. And also a lot of children were born in the 80s, including me. All right. I'm going to talk about the Black Panther era next. Let's talk about Reagan era real quick. I kind of skipped over, but still. Let's talk about Reagan era, and then I'm going to go backwards to the Black Panther era. Besides a lot of black men stealing, going to jail, abandoning their families, drugs being involved, certain other people rich. What was going on? What else was going on? Oh, see, I said the Reagan era, nothing but the tower came out. Nothing but destruction. Nothing but pure hell. Nothing but gang violence. A lot of mental health patients. A lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of immaturity. A lot of challenges. A lot of playing games. A lot of violence. A lot of young men passing on. A lot of young men fleeing away. A lot of fighting. A lot of couples was breaking up. A lot of couples was not getting along. A lot of couples was fighting. A lot of violence was going on. A lot of young men going against each other, shooting each other, gang banging and violence. This Page of Swords with this Page of Wands, these were young men out here being violent and fighting and immature. And all President Reagan did was just sit and watch. Sit and watch. A lot of families damaged, destroyed, taking out the home, losing the home, sad, crying, evicted, homeless. Why is the star here? I mean, what I get from the star and the Three of Wands is everybody just ignored it, act like it wasn't there, and moved forward. I feel like if you had money, you didn't even pay attention or cared. But the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. So a lot of people were using drugs and dealing them. A lot of bad luck around that time. Let's talk about the Black Panther. A lot of black luck, bad luck. A lot of children going to foster homes. A lot of violence. A lot of gang violence. A lot of young men losing their lives. A lot of young men passed on in that time. All right, let's talk about the Black Panther era. Give me the energy around the Black Panther era. And then I'm going to talk about 1986 to 2023. Give me the energy around the Black Panther era. Look, I don't know what's going on when it comes to the Black Panther era, but there was no confidence at all. And I'm kind of shocked to see that, because I actually watched the Black Panther a little bit and it seemed like they was with it. But I do see them losing a lot of opportunities. I do see them losing hope. I do see them what do you want to call that? It's not the program, but the organization. Thank you, Spirit. The organization wasn't structured, and didn't nobody have enough. They didn't have it all together to keep it going. They didn't have enough determination. They didn't, you know how people get together and have meetings and talk and lay out rules and how they're going to do it and how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that. They wasn't good at that. Look, the Black Panther, exactly. They weren't good at that. A lot of the Black Panther, if you were a woman and you were a part of the Black Panther, you didn't feel confident enough. You didn't feel like you had the courage. And the men always made y'all feel upset and depressed. And I'm going to say it, but a lot of the men who were a part of Black Panther movement, and y'all had a woman or it was women there, y'all had them doing DRUGS. Y'all had them doing that. There was not enough money in the organization to keep it going. This is Two of Coins in reverse. Not enough structure, not enough ground, not enough money. Ugh, it makes me think about my homeboy that had this going on. Yeah, it takes me back to what I said. No good leadership. I don't know what happened to that guy, Huey. I'm going to ask. I don't know what happened to him. I feel like, energetically, I feel like he probably went to jail. It's something about when he left or when he went to jail, that whole group fell apart. They never had meetings like that. They never had, like I said, a meeting where they sit down and talk and say what we're going to do and how we're going to establish this or do that. It seemed like they lost somebody who was a very powerful person. He could have been a fire sign, and if he wasn't a fire sign, he just had a lot of passion and a lot of drive. And it seems like ever since he left, they got destitutionalized. I'm also hearing the energy that a lot of them went to jail. But I see a lot of depression with it. Give me 2 more cards. Around the Black Panther movement, let me get 2 more cards. 2 more. That fell. Somebody is an air sign who was in charge, and their energy is like, I'm disappointed, and it's something about what happened to me that left. He had a lot of emotional control. He kept them calm. He kept them still and ready. And it's something about when he left, they went down. They went down. All right. Do I want to pull any more cards towards this? Yes. Do I? Yes, I do. I want to pull this. Give me the energy around that guy, Huey P. Newton, I believe, who was in charge of the Black Panthers. If it was anybody else in charge, I don't know. I just know about him. And I'm getting a powerful air sign. Let me know if Huey P. Newton was an air sign. I don't feel like looking him up to see. If he was an air sign, he was very powerful. He had his emotions in control. He could have been a water sign. His moon sign could have been a water sign, and his rising could have been an earth, but he had all the emotional control and ability to keep it going. And it's something about him disappearing and being disappointed that it went down. See? Huey P. Newton was I just said that shit before the High Priestess came out. This dude was very spiritually intelligent and wise. He had all the wisdom and knowledge. And it's something about him when he came out that made it even more better. And he kept balance. So it was something about when he left, because he kept balance and structure and rules and very intellectual and courage. Like, he kept it better. The world, it's something about him that had it going. He had it financially going too. So 3 of Wands is here. I was about to say, what stopped it? What blocked it? Because it was something about him that had this under control, and then when he left, it stopped. 3 of Wands is here. So the 3 of Wands is already letting me know that things started passionately slowing down. What happened to Huey P. Newton to make it stop and slow down? Because he had it going. Oh shit. Somebody ran him off. Somebody tried to take his life. He ran off. I just said that. Somebody ran him off. Somebody tried to take his life, but they didn't get to. They tried. And he had to leave. Somebody tried to take his life, and he had to change, relocate, and leave. And so he missed it. It's never coming back. And it was delayed. It blocked. It stopped. The star. It's Huey P. Newton. He's an air sign. He may be in Aquarius. Let me know if the star's in Aquarius. Let me know if he's in Aquarius. But he had, everything went down for him, and he lost so somebody tried to run him off. Jealousy. So somebody ran him off. He had to leave, and it went down from there. Wow. Jealousy. Let me know if he's an air sign or an Aquarius. He's definitely an air sign. Too much intellectual knowledge, too much control, emotional control. He's definitely, if he's not an air sign rising, he's an air sign moon. But I feel like he is an air sign, particularly an Aquarius. Y'all let me know if he is. But if he's not an Aquarius, he's an air sign. But he definitely has his moon in water. Because I was going to say but Aquarius does work with it's the only air sign that deals with a lot of water. So I could see why I could think his moon sign is an Aquarius too. So it could be either an Aquarius. He got a lot of water, but he's air sign, so he's intellectual. It's just a lot of water and air in there, but I'm willing to bet that his rising is air. I mean his sign. He could be an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. I'm not getting Gemini. I'm definitely getting Aquarius energy. It's too much knowledge, too much water behind him. I'm getting that energy. All right, so let's talk about let's keep going. The last part of the Reconstruction, 1986 to 2023. We already talked about Reagan era. We're going to talk about the first Bush. Then we're going to talk about Obama and then the second Bush. But first, we're going to talk about how was the South in 1986 to 2023. Give me the energy around the South. Five of Cups, coming out of depression, coming out of violence and betraying each other and fighting and wars and stuff. Building the country slowly together, putting all the crops and everything together when it comes to the South. creating things better, making things happen better, forming together. A lot of people spiritually growing. A lot of people still need to learn how to love each other, be there for each other emotionally. And that's something that needs to be worked on. But the South is still hiding a secret. The South is still hiding from 1986 to 2023. You guys are still hiding the secret of racism, of wanting to take people out. And then I also feel an energy of climate. So it's something between 1986 to 2023 where the climate starts changing. The animals aren't happy with the nature. The people aren't really like, it's something about us with climate in the air where it is affecting the way we do things, whether it's affecting relationships or our immune systems or our bodies or our mental health. It's something about that came out very clearly. The earth needs, I just heard Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to 0. God damn. So this is talking more about the earth being polluted, things changing, things being reconstructed, the earth losing its natural minerals and climate. Minerals and natural sources. Food is changing, how it grows, the water, the seasons, stuff is changing, y'all. The earth is a wheel of fortune in reverse, so we got to do a lot better in the South. Climate is changing. Farming is not as good as it used to be in the past, so something's going on there. Give me a little more energy when it comes to black people in the South between 1986 and 2023, y'all. Black people are still trapped to slavery, to Reconstruction, to everything that's happening to us. Being homeless, being stuck, being unemotionally there for each other. We're still trapped to it, you guys. Still going through hurt in the South. They're still going through hurt, hunger, homelessness, hurting each other, not being there for each other. Not arguing and fighting as much though, but it's a lot of mental things within ourselves that we're trapped to. That's what it is. We need to work on our spiritual growth. We need to reflect and redirect. That's what's going on with a lot of black people from 1986 to 2023. It's an inner thing now. So what I'm getting from it is the psychological damage of Reconstruction, the Civil War, the slavery still affecting us mentally now, still being trapped to it. Not fighting and not being tortured and losing our homes and none of that stuff no more, but still mentally being trapped to it. Our mothers, for the black women, our mothers, we have a lot of womb damage we need to work on. A lot of healing damage that we have got watching our mothers go through the struggle and go through depression and go through mental health issues. So we need to work on that, black women. A lot of younger black women are getting their education. I mean, that's good. A lot of women aren't confident no more. We're not feeling beautiful inside. We're not feeling earthy and naturey. We're not getting treated like we're supposed to be getting treated. We're not being able to rest in our femininity. It's coming out again. We are actually adapting to... We're not adapting. What I will say is we're not learning how to deal with our emotions and just walk away from things that don't serve us. Black people, black men, black women, we're still stuck in the emotional cycle, the emotional damage, psychological energy of being held back, of not being able to have opportunities, of not being emotionally loved or expressing it or being hurt. And it's going there. Okay, it's going there. Let's talk about, pull a couple of more tarot cards on the South from 1923. From 1986 to 2023. Let me get that out. Give me some more cards on that, Spirit, around the black people, black men from 1986 to 2023 in the South. And then we'll talk about the north and then the west. And then we'll talk about the bushes and them. And then I'm done, y'all. Bush. We already talked about Reagan. First Bush, Clinton. Second Bush, Obama. I mean, in the South, black people, we're still financially not happy in the homes. We're still the same. Not financially happy in the homes. Not single mother homes. No structure. You know, not being a happily wife. Not being in the home and that type of stuff. But coming out of letting it make us feel incomplete. We have that energy like, okay, this is hurting us. I feel in a dark place. I've been feel betrayed. My heart hurt. My soul hurts. But I'm healing. I'm not letting it affect me. A lot of broken families. A lot of fakeness. A lot of like not being there for each other. Not celebrating together. Not forming up community. Women or men groups. Community groups. And being there for each other. The black man. You guys are not doing big brotherhoods or big fatherhoods or helping the community of younger boys, not teaching the younger boys, turning a blind eye to the fact of the women being not happy and not being complete. And, you know, like I said with the women, the black women, we are suffering and mentally going through it, but we're working on overcoming the damages, you know. And for the black man, you guys are mentally stressed out. You guys are having sleepless nights. You guys are going through challenges and stuff like that. And instead of trying to get help about it, you're just like ignoring it and feeling like, you know, this is something I'll get over. And you are, but it's still dark. It's still dark. So it's like, what you're doing still is, you're not, instead of fighting it, you're ignoring it. So what you're doing is turning it into anxiety and making it even worse. So then I see a lot of black people and the men where y'all bodies is starting to be affected, like physically, from you not dealing with the mental stress or not seeking help or not trying to spiritually reflect or cleanse your soul and stuff like that. That's deep. That's very deep. A lot of black people are getting even more immature and not growing. I mean, I see you guys are trying to be warriors and soldiers and fight your battles, but you just got to fight a little harder. You're not fighting hard enough. You're not fighting hard enough to gain emotional courage and strength. Instead, you're just kind of giving up and fussing and not looking at things from a new perspective. Not emotionally committed to anything. And I'm not going to just say a woman, anything. I mean, this is a Queen of Cups. It's talking about a woman, but it's also talking about emotions. And the Knight of Pentacles is running from responsibility and not trying to work hard to maintain the responsibility or to work hard to bring something to the table later. You guys are running from responsibility a lot. You're running from the responsibilities of financial responsibility, emotional responsibility, and mental responsibility. That's going on in the South. I almost want to do the North and in the West. It's kind of giving me the same energy, like the shit's the same, but whatever. Give me the energy around the North during 1986 to 2023. Spirit told me I shouldn't have to talk about Bush and Clinton and all that, and so I'm not, you guys. I'm just gonna jump right into my subscriber questions after this. You know, the North really struggles financially. When I was in the North, I was doing fine with my jobs, but the North is really kind of struggling financially from 1986 to 2026. Anyway, a lot of black men are having financial issues when it comes to taking care of the home and doing what they're supposed to do. Not going out, planting seeds and growing and making opportunities to grow them bigger and bigger and bigger. All they're doing in the north is fighting each other, being violent and taking each other out. Hiding from... A lot of black men are in the north are hiding their emotions in drinking and not forming good connections. And when I talk about good connections, I'm not just talking about relationships, y'all. I'm talking about job opportunities, investments. You're not investing in anything. Y'all not planting seeds to grow. Y'all not saving y'all money. You notice I don't got barely no coins. And when I do get the coins, it's the King of Pentacles in reverse. Not saving for your retirement. Not being kings of your homes. Not financially providing to create a home and a family to be a king of. Instead, you're just draining women from their emotional strength. This is the man, that's the woman. You're draining women from their emotional strength. You're not being there physically, mentally, and you're making connections and running out on them. Forcing the women to be here left with all the strength. Give me the energy around the north. The north kind of started changing a little later. The north people started being more open and passionate a little bit, but not too much, because this is Knight of Cups, so it needs more growth. Trying to put investments in the city, but not enough. The ground is still black. It's still no investments. It's still no growth. Still no accepting emotional maturity, and still not having the passion to get out there and go after your desires and your goals. Holding back, and I do see a lot of men out here with mental problems. Being immature and lying. I mean, besides, there's been a big growth in jobs, but a lot of men not wanting to take the responsibility for it. I see a lot of black young girls still going to get their education. I see women working mostly. I'm seeing the women trying to have patience. I'm seeing less deceit, being less deceitful, and I'm seeing women get more into themselves and just ignoring the men. I see the women trying to spiritually make opportunities for themselves, doing spiritual work to open their roads, being more into doing rituals and celebrations and going out and dancing. But I am seeing that a lot of women are losing control of putting it out there on how they feel. Losing control of having their passion there. Losing their control of wanting to put their emotions out there. Not connecting with your inner spiritual self. Not connecting with their inner child. Not growing spiritually. I see that in the north. So the north is kind of taking things on a different type of spiritual level. Give me one more card when it comes to the north, and then I'll talk about the west. And then I'm going to jump straight into y'all questions. Give me the energy around black people in the north. A lot of women are, and this is 1986 to 2023, so we talking about now. A lot of women are turning away from being emotionally available. A lot of women are turning away from their emotions. A lot of women are not believing in their emotions anymore. They're not taking it serious. See? They're trying to choose a better path, but they need to... A lot of women have been keeping their distance from men and just keeping their distance from people. A lot of people are being distant from each other and being distant. Now, that could have been when the C19 started. That could be coming through in the reading. I see a lot of people leaving the north, moving from the north and going somewhere else. Probably, it looks like to the west, looking at this. Looks like to the west. So I see people, a lot of people leaving the north. I used to live in the north. I knew when I lived in the north, I wasn't going to be there permanently. I had gave myself 5 years in the north. I ended up staying for 3. So I always knew the north wasn't a permanent thing for me. I just needed a new start when I went. But a lot of people in the north, they don't want to leave it, especially if you're in New York and Philly and stuff. They don't want to leave it because they're used to it. But I'm seeing an energy where they're leaving and they don't have a choice. And I actually see them going west, not even south. Let's get the energy for the black people from 1986 to 2023 in the west. And then we're going to ask the subscribers questions. And then I'm in the reading here, you guys. Okay. All right, black people in the West. You guys are having a hard time when it comes. I see the water. The West is still, honestly, the West is giving me more laid back energy. But the men in the West are totally in control. The women have no control there. The black women really don't have control there. They really don't put their foot down. They really kind of let the men take charge. A lot of black people on the West are going through like sadness situations and heartbreaks and dark energy, manipulation with the black people. Lies, people telling them what they want to hear, abusive relationships, manipulation, no control, women not leaving, women getting abused. I just heard Michelet. I don't know why. But as time went on, women started gaining confidence. Women started having ideas and growing and working on their spiritual levels. But a lot of women were divorcing. A lot of couples were divorcing. I'm like, what does this have to do? But I hear you, Spirit. 1986, from 1986 to 2023. The West is the same, where the women are into themselves, they're confident, they have ideas. A lot of them are not ready for marriage, and it's still the same where black women are not being there for each other, forming communities and groups of supportive groups. Black women are not forming supportive groups, being there for each other. There are more single dads now from 1986 to 2023. There's a couple of them, not much. 6% is what I just heard. On the West, women are not trapped to a man like they are in the South and the North. That's the energy I'm getting. Women in the West are going after opportunities. They're really passionately going after their opportunities in the West. A lot of women, some women are operating in relationships, but a lot of women are being independent and operating in single energy. Give me the energy around a black man in the West from 1986 to 2023. I see some black men trying to get into relationships, but not many. A lot of them just passionately want to sleep. That's the energy I just got. It's here again. A lot of black men are like running out on their families and not even thinking twice about it or putting thought into it and just seeing what next woman is out there. See how that energy totally changed? Where they're manipulating and being abusive towards women. Look at that. Black men, come on now. A lot of them don't want to work hard and achieve things and go out and chase things they desire. What's next to the Fool? One more card. I knew it. A lot of black men come to women and kind of gaslight. They offer marriage, they offer the commitment, they offer to get like be a family, have kids and stuff, but they still have a lot of maturity they need to do. The Page of Cups is not really love, and it's not a man. It's emotional love. It's emotional feelings with fake words, and then they turn immature and bounce. They get about themselves, they get flashy, and they bounce. And then they get abusive. So it just like turned around, and they make situations, they don't accomplish things. They don't have the drive, and they don't have the ambitions. Come on, the Six of Wands next to the Knight of Swords in reverse. They're both in reverse. They don't accomplish goals. They don't take responsibility. They don't care about recognition. They don't care about getting out there and fighting for what is needed to be there, fighting for your family, fighting for a job, fighting for stability, fighting for being determined. They rather be sneaky and steal and plot and creep and lie. They weigh into things. They create tower moments every time and then feel like, okay, we can clean it up by being like determined, like stubborn and arrogant and set in their ways. It's like, what? Okay, anyway, y'all, let's get into my subscribers' questions, okay? Okay, you guys, so let's get to my subscribers' question. I had to pause the video and, relax. And the first question that I got from my subscriber, I wrote it down, is what did the ancestors think of the Reconstruction era after the Civil War from 1865 to 1977? How and what did the ancestors think and feel about it? That's one answer. Let me pull 2 more cards for that. Oh, this is pretty self-explanatory. One more. Okay. What did the ancestors think about it? Was there another card? No. All right. What did the ancestors think about it? Cards is flipping all over. The ancestors like trying to get that answer out. I ain't mad. How did the ancestors feel about Reconstruction era after the Civil War from 1865 to 1877? All right, I'm gonna leave those in. The ancestors, they had their thoughts. They thought automatically that this is going too slow. They're not moving fast enough, and that this reconstruction is going to be a very, very, very slow process. The ancestors see the horse being overwhelmed, the horse being sad, a lot of work being done with no money involved, like slow money process. A lot of work needs to be done, but not really no money to put into it to be done. So they just felt like it's a slow process. It's a depressing process. They also were, the ancestors were also very frustrated and upset with how slow the process was going. But overall, through the slow process, they felt like it would plant seeds and it would grow. It would take a long time, but the reconstruction, everything would be different. It will be a change, a slow change. That's what I keep getting, a slow change. And a lot of black people being passionate and coming out of depression about it. Let me get one more card. The people, everybody moving forward and coming out of a depressive state. And that's as far as like the black people. We're not talking about the white people. But it would be a very, very slow process for them. Yeah. It would be a very, very slow process, but a new beginning. But after a while, we will see the trains running, the water growing, people being able to do their crops and everything. But it would just be a slow while the desire to make it happen is happening. But just it being a very, very, very slow process. Yeah. So I hope that answers that question. They just felt like it was going too slow. All right. The next question is from a subscriber. What was the energy during the Civil Rights Black Panther era? Was this the closest that black people got to unity since being stolen? So we talked about the Black Panthers already. So just rewind it a little bit, and then because your question, it kind of went with the Black Panthers. It was something about Huey P. Newton that brought a spiritual calmness and a peace. But he wasn't leader for like too long, like basically over 15 years. So after something with him, everything went down. A lot of people got arrested. A lot of people went to jail. And Black Panther men were treating Black Panther women disrespectful. People had their own mind, but they were getting them addicted to drugs and abusing them, and yeah. So that answers that question. Okay, the next question from another subscriber is the current I wrote it down just like you said it. Is the current incel culture rooted in the sentiments from 1750 to 1865? For example, wanting to be like white man, black man wanting to be like white man, and black man wanting white women, and not adapting or having gratitude. All right, so, is the current incel culture rooted to the segments from... Now, I get your question, but I think I was saying this in the part 1 video, but... Rooted, yes, it is rooted in black people, and it has a lot to do with the Willie Lynch letter. So please go read, just Google it, the Willie Lynch letter. And he's from the West Indies, and he talks about how, because at first white people in North Carolina, Virginia, they couldn't control the black slaves. They couldn't control them. They didn't know how. It was very hard. And so he came from the West Indies and wrote a book and wrote books and did lectures on how to properly be a slave owner. And if you read the letter, it's very deep. It's like an article book somewhat, but it's a long letter. It talks about psychologically turning black people against each other and making them not trust each other and making them deceive each other too, and doing that and playing favors. He's the one that came up with the idea of the house slave, to turn the light slaves versus the dark slaves, to turn dark slaves against other dark slaves, choosing favors and stuff like that. So I hope that kind of answers the question, but let me pull 3 cards on it. Is the current incel culture rooted in the settlements from 1750 to 1865? Rooted in the black people, like the black man wanting to be like white men, and then wanting white women. Now, I was watching a documentary on YouTube a while ago, and it's more like an anthropology documentary. It's this guy named Lewinsky. I can't remember his first name real quick, but his last name is Lewinsky. Of course, he's a Jewish guy. And he does videos where he travels all over the world. And he was in South Sudan, and that's Africa, of course, Africa, Sudan. And it was a cow tribe. And they did everything around the cows, took care of the cows, washed up through the cows. I mean, everything with the cows, took care of them, fed them, was there for them. And they lived out in land. It was like, an old school tribe, like it was like before civilization type tribe, right? And he asked the black dude, the black African dude from Sudan. He asked the Jewish dude asked him, what does he think of America? And he said, I want to get a woman that's like you. How much of a dowry, which means money, do I have to pay? Because some countries, they buy their wives, they do a dowry. How much of a dowry do I have to pay to get a woman like you? And Lewinsky, he was like, you want a woman like me? He said, a woman like you, your color, white girl. And he said, it depends on if she wants to, but So they still asking. They asking right now. It was a pretty bunch of black girls in his tribe in they over there with them, but they were still asking about white women. So it's just in them. But let's get the energy of why is it rooted in them? Why is it rooted? Besides the Willie Lynch letter, I know that's one reason, but from why is it rooted in them wanting to be like white men and wanting white women? Why is it rooted? Lord Jesus. They want to be like white men, black men. They want to be like white men, and they want to have white women because this is their way of feeling like they have control, of wanting to have control, of wanting to dominate something, of wanting to be that king or that emperor, and feeling like they in charge or conquering something, which this is in reverse. You're not. It's not. They're not. That's crazy. It also will give them confidence if they feel like they could be like the white man, be in a leadership position, get their women. I'm getting more of an energy of wanting to be like them more than wanting the women, but I'm getting the women too. Having the women will give them confidence. Black men don't feel confident and they're intimidated of white men in general. So if they feel like if they could get their women, that's some way of trying to earn the leadership position or the skill they got, or trying to get them to like them. Black men do feel like white women are more in tune and are more emotionally into them and emotionally more nurturing and softer. Look, I'm not mad. I don't think I've actually met some black men who are not attracted to white women at all, but I'm not gonna lie, they mostly be light-skinned black men. It's crazy. It seems like the light-skinned black men always like the dark-skinned women, and then the dark-skinned black man only like the dark-skinned women. But I'm gonna be honest, none of my brothers like white girls. All my brothers are some chocolate guys. I got 3 brothers. They some chocolate guys, and they have never dated white women or Hispanic women. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm proud of that, because all them niggas ain't shit still. They still some hoes. They still players. They still don't know how to treat women right. And I'm just keeping it real. And that's sad. But I cannot say none of my brothers have been attracted to women outside their race. That's crazy. But they're depressed. This gives them a depression that they don't have that leadership role like white men. They don't have them careers. They don't have the opportunities. And granted, yes, a lot of white men have put them in a position where they didn't have them opportunities. I've heard stories of going to colleges, all white colleges, and black men telling me that white men has told them, how did you get here? Y'all not smart enough to get here. So I get it. So there's that 20% of black men who do try and they get pushed down by the white man. But not as much no more. So this is more like a competition and a challenge type of thing. A competition. And them feeling like they don't have a connection to try. Like white men don't try to give them a connection to try to help them or give them skills and points on how to try to get to their level. Black man, y'all gotta have your own mind. White men are meant to be here to do what they do, and God gave you your own mind to try to figure out your type of leadership position role and what you're supposed to be doing. I spiritually feel like God gave y'all that in Africa, because Africa is bigger than all the countries. I spiritually almost feel like God, I'm not going to say God had favor, but he really he really admired the black culture. But I feel like they have disrespected him the most. Even though the Israelites and the Jewish people was getting on my nerves when they kept complaining to Moses about why we gotta die in the desert? We could have died as slaves, and that shit was getting on my nerves. Cause like, who the fuck wants to die as a slave? Like, who wants to die? Even the black people in the Civil War wasn't going to God talk about, oh, God just put us back in slavery with the white people. Even though they was homeless, hungry, no homes, they still wasn't telling God we want to go back to being slaves. So that part kind of irritated me with the Jewish people. But overall, this is the energy where they just want to be equal. They feel like black men don't want to give them the emotional connection to try to be like on their level, don't want to help them with the confidence, don't want to teach them and help them to be equal. And they want to be equal like y'all do with the women. They want to make money like y'all so they could get women like y'all. So black man, y'all got to change y'all thinking. It's going to be hard. It's still going to be hard. It's still going to be hard. It goes back to what I just said a moment ago. Y'all got to get your own mind and connect with God and figure out how and what is y'all leadership position supposed to be. Maybe y'all can beg and talk to God to get back to Africa and get it popping out there like it should have been. Okay? But I don't see it happening. And I don't see them manifesting or trying to make it happen. Still. See, black man? So because y'all can't get the white man to communicate with y'all, to give y'all tips and pointers, to help y'all get confidence, to be equally share the money equally with y'all, help y'all get leadership positions, help y'all not be lazy, because this talks about somebody not wanting to get out there and put in the work as well. Y'all want to get an attitude and get dark and be mean and evil and say, well, we gonna rape y'all women. I'm sorry, they may get mad at that one, but grape y'all women. We're going to sneak and lie. We're going to impregnate them. We're going to gaslight them, manipulate them, impregnate them, get them pregnant and leave them single mothers too. Like, leave them single mothers in the home and not financially provide and take care of them and then disappear like y'all do. And mentally stress them out too. Because white girls, y'all get pregnant by them wrong black girls, y'all be just like us, crying, sad, upset, all that. All right, so let's get to the next question. I hope that answered your question. The next question is, why do black people usually be in the lower end economically around the globe? I think I kind of just explained that right now. Because to be honest, it's black men, really. It's not women. And most of the women are starting to financially get on that level. They are becoming lawyers, doctors. So I really see it more in black men. But I kind of just answered that question with the last question right now. All right, next question. Why has African history not been told by Africans but white people instead? That's a good question. Why has African history been told by Africans Why has African history not been told by Africans but by white people instead? I'm going to tell you why. Well, one reason why, I know a lot of white people go and travel to Africa. They learn the cultures, they go to the celebrations and the festivals, and then they come back and tell it to some schools. But why is the history not being told by Africans? Let's see. A lot of black Africans, especially if they live in America and they came from Africa, they are so disgusted and terrified with how home used to be. They don't like to talk about it. The energy is also showing me there is a disconnection between Africans and African Americans to where they don't feel like they don't talk about it. There's no connection there to where they feel like they even need to talk about it. They feel like that we are not connected and we don't want to be connected. And we as Americans, black Americans, have no clue. I mean, not have no clue, but have no intention on going to Africa anyway. And they just don't want to talk and communicate and talk with us about it. They feel like it'll turn into an argument or a disagreement and they don't have the energy for it. And to be honest, I feel the energy of the African people not being all the way honest as well either. Or anyway, when they, if they did come and tell the history, they wouldn't be honest anyway. A lot of Africans also feel like Africa ain't no big deal to say nothing about. It's not popular. There's no recognition there. It looks bad. It's poor. There's no money. They feel like it's nothing to really tell. I just see that they only want to come and try to marry somebody in different countries and not tell the history. and they don't have a passion for it. So that's what I'm getting out of it. This is why they don't tell the history. Why? But why do white people do it instead? Let's pull on that. Why do white people tell the history instead? Why do white people tell the history instead? Because they see Africa as more pure. They see the light. They see the resources. They see the light of it that we don't see. I just said this earlier. They go out there. They see the lands. They write down. They learn. Go on YouTube and watch one of them people that be up in Africa doing them documentary stories or visiting the country. I've already just gave you an example of the white Jewish boy Drew. I said his first name now, Drew Lewinsky, that goes to these different cultures and learn and do architect. And a lot of people that's also anthropologists. They go out and they be white and they go out and see it and learn the culture and come back and tell it. I just said that earlier. They also go and get resources and tell. So they come and tell about the resources that's out there, the celebrations, the education, the opportunities. And black people still don't listen and try to go and learn it. I listen, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't plan on going. I don't see me going to Africa. But it wouldn't be for the reasons that everybody else don't want to go. So I hope that answered the question. The next question I got is, why has the real black history been withheld from black people in America? Now I don't need to pull cards for that. I'm going to be so real. I'm going to tell you why. And I really didn't even need to pull cards for the last question of why the white people tell the history instead, because I kind of just said it before the card said it. So I'm going to answer that question. Because black people in America do not go and do their own research and learn the history. I went to school. When I was in school, they only taught us the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and they didn't even say Thomas Jefferson. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, and the Revolutionary in London and all that shit. When I got out of school, and even when I was in school, I went and did my own research. I used to watch the History Channel. They will talk about it a little bit. I went and read on black books. I noticed when they were talking about Abraham Lincoln in the Civil War, and they did mention the black slaves, I went and did my research and looked to see what was the reason for black slaves. What was the history about it? I didn't find out about Nat Turner and Gabriel Prosser and Henry Box. I didn't find out about all of them until they didn't even teach Harriet Tubman when I was in school, and this was like in the 90s and the 2000s. But I didn't find out about none of that shit until I did my research on my own. Now I remember in my history class in college, I found out about Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman, but I feel like that was because I had a black teacher. So it also goes to a lot of black people needing to go to college and get their master's degree so they could be teachers and teach it. So that falls on black people within their self, because look, white people know their history and then they still go to Africa and learn the history. So black people need to learn their history and then still go to Africa and learn their history or learn their own history about America. So next question. Why do black people always have a hard time working together as a community? That's a good question. That is a good question. And that is the last. No, that's not the last question. Why do black people have a hard time working together as a community? Black people just don't emotionally like each other. They're not there for each other. They don't have empathy for each other. They don't have a passion to be there for each other. And it kind of goes back to what I said, that Willie Lynch letter all again. I appreciate y'all, but y'all questions kind of sound the same. It goes back to the Willie Lynch letter again. Being lied to, not having clarity, being deceived, being brainwashed, not passionately available for each other, wanting to only be there for self. afraid of being deceived by each other. I ain't gonna lie. I'm afraid to hang out with a black bitch. I'm afraid to almost date a black dude. I'm afraid to hang out with a black bitch because y'all be trying to jump people. Y'all be hating on people. Y'all be secretly doing spiritual work and witchcraft on people. Y'all be hating on each other on the job. Y'all don't want to see each other grow on the job. Y'all don't offer, if y'all leadership or y'all black women, y'all don't want to offer other black women opportunities. My cousin in New Orleans told me that his homegirl is a manager at a U-Haul company, and she fires girls because they look better than her. The dumbest shit in the world, but whatever. You guys don't have confidence in each other. You guys don't trust each other. I just admitted I don't trust black women. But look how I've been treated. I don't even act like the typical black woman. I say good morning. I say hi. I say how you doing. You have a good day. I'm helpful. You come to me and ask me a question at work, I will try to help you. I communicate. But a lot of black women don't act like me. It's a few of us out there, but it's like with the men. It's 80% of black women who don't want to help each other out. The men don't go through this. There are men who give each other drama at the job, but it's usually a different type of man. Like, it's usually the Hispanic man giving the black man a hard time at a job or going at it with him, or another white man. It's not usually black man against black man. Black men just don't know how to assume a leadership role without having an attitude, without being arrogant, without being cocky, they don't know how to put their emotions in there. They don't know how to emotionally think. They're not spiritually intelligent. They're not emotionally intelligent, and they're not emotionally available. Black women just hate on each other. They're just envious of each other. They're just fussing at each other. They don't have a passion for each other. They don't want to see each other get money. They're scared of deceiving and plotting and stealing from each other because they do. They're worried about men looking at them another way and not looking at other women the other way. There is just no clarity here. Y'all don't treat each other fair. Y'all want to see each other coins fall. Y'all are not balanced. Simple. That's why they're not there. And then go back to the Willie Lynch letter, like I said earlier, with the brainwashing and the mind manipulation, okay? So, my last question, and it goes a little deep. We already talked about in my last video the future of racism, but the last question is, what is God's plans and energy for the male race? Okay, I'm gonna pull one card for each race. I'm gonna start off with, I wrote it each down: white, black, Asian, Hispanic, Indian, Jewish, and if it's any other nationalities I missed, I'm sorry. Okay, Pakistani, I'm gonna put that in there. Let's start off with white man. What is God's intentions for the white male race? God's problem with the white male race is they need to learn how to be a unity and form a connection with everybody else and not just themselves. They don't want to go and expand being a bigger community. They just want their own community. They want to be isolated, and they want other races to keep their distance and just let them do their own thing. So God is going to get on them about being more open and being more sharing and to not be so closed in and to not be so distant from, connected with other nationalities. Okay? So that's his intentions, and that's what he feels about the right ways. Give me the energy on how God feels about the black male race. Thank you, Spirit. The black male race. Look, the death card came out. Y'all need to change. It needs to be a lot of change. Y'all need to stop killing each other, taking each other's lives, being unemotionally available, being dark. Y'all need to start being better to y'all women. Y'all need to start being there for y'all kids. A lot of the black male race has like that vindictive, disconnect and distant energy. A lot of you guys are evil thinking. A lot of you guys think violent. A lot of other races think you're violent as well. God feels like the black man needs a serious change, and to stop hurting everybody in your community, and to stop killing each other. That all came out with the Death card. Let's talk about the next race is the Asian man. What is God's thoughts and intentions towards the Asian man? All Asian. Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino. They all Asian. Okay, the Asian community. You guys overthink. You guys overthink. You guys are overstressing. You guys are having nightmares. You guys are overcrowded. You guys need to work on y'all spiritual energy. You guys need to it's really just talking about you guys not overthinking so much. You guys overthink too much. The mind is a calm place. So God wants the Asian men to calm down, not overthink. Don't be dramatic. Stop being afraid of what's next. That's different. Also, a lot of Asian men are also getting over being set back. That's what I just heard. All right, let's talk about the Hispanic man. What is God's thoughts and intentions towards the Hispanic race? Towards the Hispanic race. The first thing I heard is sit still. Y'all need to learn how to sit still and appreciate your countries. And I don't look, I promise I don't mean it like that, but y'all need to sit still. Y'all need to try to form your own powerful government in your own countries. You guys need to learn how to be there and be more powerful in your own countries. You guys need to stand up and have more emotional courage when it comes to other nationalities. And you guys need to stop trying to run and go and fix up your community. The spirit is saying y'all fix up everybody else's community and leave y'all community behind. And I'm going to say y'all country. Because in the past history, not even like ancient, I'm talking about 500 years ago, Mexico was a very, very good, powerful, structured city. A lot of Hispanic God feels like y'all don't connect emotionally with y'all partners, and that you guys need to come out of depression and get emotional strength. Y'all are not y'all don't have an emotional connection. Y'all just have that type of energy like, look, I'm just here to provide. That's it. Provide and take care of home financially. That's it. A lot of you guys are depressed and have depression and don't go to therapy. He wants y'all to work on y'all mental health and work on y'all emotions to the Mexican race. All right. Next, what is God's thoughts and intentions towards the Indian race? What is God's thoughts and intentions towards the Indian race? Okay. The Indian race, he appreciates, like, the Indian race is a little different. You guys provide. You guys take care of y'all families. You guys are there for y'all women. You guys are financially supportive. So I see a lot of good things coming towards the Indian race. A lot of good things. So I don't really see a big deal here. I do see the energy of God feeling like the Indian man need to be a little more attentive to their wives and attentive to the women in their nationality. But they provide, they do everything else, and there's a lot of blessings coming towards them. All right. Give me God's thoughts and intentions towards the Jewish people, the Jewish men, the Jewish men, the Jewish men. God loves the way the Indians are there for their women. I almost said God chosen, but that's not what he means. The Jewish community are the most spiritual. They connect with God the most. They pray the most. They're in light the most. They do spiritual baths and baptisms, and they do more to connect with God than all the other races. So God is saying, keep working on your patience. Keep connecting with him. Keep being there with him. Like, wow, the Jewish people got the best card so far. Now let's talk Pakistani men, which I feel like they're Indian descent. Pakistani men, and then we'll talk about Iraqi men. Pakistani men. What's God's energy towards Pakistani men? Woo! Okay. Wow. God said that you guys are dark. You guys don't have emotional love. God is not with you guys. He's not by your side. You guys have totally disconnected from him. He's not near you. Oh, okay. I'm not going to never say God has taken his love away because that's pretty hard. But as far as like y'all emotional support and miracles and dreams and stuff, no. He's not connected to the Pakistani men at all. It's a lot of disappointment. All right, the last but not least, the Iraqi man. Also hear that he doesn't like the way that y'all treat people, women. Y'all don't love nothing. Y'all don't love yourselves. Y'all don't love anything. All right. Y'all are almost worse than the black man, Pakistani man. I'm shocked. Iraqi man, and then I'm out of here. Iraqi man. What's God's energy towards the Iraqi man? Y'all need to work a little harder on y'all money. Y'all need to work. Y'all need to grow up a little bit too. A lot of Iraqi men are getting their education, but a lot of them are immature and need to grow up. A lot of them don't try to get recognition or achieve things or try to do anything positive. A lot of them are immature, liars, immature, young acting. A lot of them are tempered. I had to pull out more cards. A lot of them are tempered, emotionless. They don't use their intuition and they treat their women like shit. Wow. So I hope I answered everybody's questions, and I'm going to end this reading here, and tomorrow we'll get back to the celebrity readings, and then after that I have a couple of more historical readings to do, you guys. Enjoy your evening. Bye.